And we have just gone live. Let's just breathe into existence. How is everyone today? Oh, there goes my phone telling me I've gone live. I should always turn that down, shouldn't I, really? But first and foremost, let me just say hi to the world. Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Sending out positive affirmations to everyone around the world. No matter where you are, even here, right here in the UK. If you're watching EastEnders, or is it one show, or is it... I don't know what the soaps are. I'm really sorry. Am I that boring? Because I don't watch soaps. I do watch Holby City. But anyway, welcome to Standing in My Truth. It's always on a Thursday between 7 and 7:30. We have different various guests that joins us each week. This week I have an outstanding guy in his community, but without me going on too much, let me give you, while everyone, yes, I can see the chat room opening up, let me give you a bit of a synopsis. GYMIntervention. I know a lot of people are going to say, what is GYMIntervention? Who are they? What is it? Is it a gym? But no, it stands for Guiding Young Minds. And to be honest with you, it's not like I'm an expert on the subject. I'm not an expert on the subject, but what I can say is that the world that we live in today, especially that we've had COVID, etc., not just parents, but our well-being is taking a knock, and our children are still out there, peer pressure, gangs, violence is still happening, children are still being killed, or young adults. And GYMIntervention, if you think of Guiding Young Minds, this is what they do and this is who they are. I'm going to play a little video before we bring in the wonderful Anton Noble, who is one of the chief leaders at GYMIntervention. Take a look at this. Of what GYM does, Guiding Young Minds. Now, without me going on and on and on and on, I can see that my wonderful guest, his name is Anton Noble, is in the chat room, or the green room as we call it. I got a green room. No, I'm only joking. I don't know why I think I am BBC One of today, which I keep telling everybody that I'm not. I'm just there. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he's in the green room and he's ready to join us today. And I'm going to bring him in right now. I don't know if he can see me.
Hello.
How you doing, Anton?
I'm all right, thank you.
Oh, I'm loving the t-shirt. Oh, pop it up a bit. Let's have a look. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh my God. We're going to have to talk about that after at the end. So, anybody wants to represent GYM, we can see that there. How are you all doing today? How are you doing today anyway?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Had a long day today, but all is well.
Excellent. And thank you first and foremost, before we get out there and let people find out. It's kind of prime time. It's 7 o'clock. A lot of people either just getting home from work, watching their TV, whatever it is. But we've gone live, and the main thing is getting everyone to humanize you and understand exactly who you are, what you do, and the people that you have around you that makes GYM works. So without further ado, there's going to be a little bit of stuff that's going across the screen. You're going to go, Don't be too frightened. This is just my way of telling the public who you are. But without further ado, so here we are. It's my All About show, and it's Anton Noble of GYMIntervention. Here he is in this wonderful clip that I've got here. Now, Anton, I'm going right from the back and I'm going to come back to the front. Now, Anton has been voted the most inspirational male role model of the year in Northamptonshire. So I guess when you hear him speak, you're going to think, where the hell does he come from? Well, you can tell he's from the Midlands, all right? Like, was that my best accent? I think I was trying to do my best accent there. But Anton was voted the most inspirational role model of the year in Northamptonshire 2019. And I'm sure you're probably wondering why, but here's more. He featured in the Channel 4 documentary, Britain's Young Drug Runners, which won a Best Documentary Award in 2019. Now, I'm sure a few people did see that because I saw various of comments about it on social media. But, you know, with that said, Anton is also a motivational and transformational speaker, advisor, a mediator, and a gang exit strategist. Now, we're going to come back to that because that is a mouthful. People are going to say, okay, you're motivational, you're you're a transformational speaker, you're an advisor, you know, a mediator, and a gang exit strategist. Okay, here's my question to you. Anton, this is your platform. It's all about you today. But who is Anton Noble? Give me a bit synopsis about you, right from the beginning.
So Anton Noble is a family man, but I was raised and born in Coventry, and but my family comes from Birmingham, so I spent most of my time in Birmingham. But I've got 2 brothers and I've got 1 sister, and I have 2 kids of my own. And,
what age? How old are they? How old are they?
My first one is 7 and my youngest is 5.
Oh, bless. Sorry.
And
yeah.
And so I come from a background. My family is Jamaican, so they come from Jamaica to England, and they had to find out the struggle to find work and stuff, but they did, and they conquered, and they brought their morals into me and my brothers and sisters to say it's going to be hard for you to get jobs due to our skin color and all this kind of stuff. But I was a person where I thought I can make it without any barriers on me if I believe in myself. And so I did, even though my surroundings was very quite negative, I made things positive. I work with what I have. And what I have left, that's all I needed. And so as time went on, I was very good at football, so I was very, very skillful, very talented, and I was also very good at singing and acting. So I had a lot of things where I wanted to be seen, but that was due to I didn't feel that I was seen in my family. So because I weren't seen in my family, I wanted to be seen out there. And that's when the turntables turned, when I thought that I weren't getting the attention that I needed. And due to my family, my mother and father were very working hard people. They didn't really spend time with us. So when you don't spend time with your kids find someone else spends time on you, which may be a bad person, or it may be us seeking for attention of the wrong people, which that's what happened to me.
All right. At a young age, before you get into that, so your roots, I'm gonna bring you all the way back because I want to know. You've now touched on this. You've touched on this now, where you're saying is you didn't feel that you were getting the right attention. So this is the word I'm using. You felt that from your roots. Even though you've been instilled with all, your folks are from Jamaica and they've got this and they've told you because of your color, but you had aspirations, but you just felt that they didn't believe in that. Is that what you're actually trying to say?
Yeah, no, it's not. I think because my mother and father are workaholics and they love work. When you're so focused on your work, you forget your own. And I think that emotionally, I don't think they were there. Because when you have to share your feelings with your parents, if they ain't, you know when someone's listening and you know when someone ain't. And
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah. Yeah.
as sometimes because they worked so hard, I don't think they had emotionally they had time and strength to listen to us, and that's when I think things started changing in
So
my
tell
life.
me more.
And
How did it change? What did you do? What was the change? What did you do?
it, I started changing in myself. So at the start, my family are a very Christian-based family. So I used to be forced to go to church, but I didn't want
I
to
like
go
the
to
way you went
church
forced,
because
you know, you were forced to go to church.
yes, I was forced to go to church, and I didn't want to go because I wanted to play football on Sundays, but church we had to go on Sundays.
Yeah.
So I started to get a rebellion spirit, and my rebellion spirit was not to do what my parents say, and I didn't care, and because I felt like they weren't listening to me, I would do anything to get attention, even if it was good or bad.
Oh,
As
really?
if I did bad, at least like at least I knew they would acknowledge me. And so it came.
Wow.
I started hanging around with my brother's friends, which were older than me, and because I was always attracted to the oldest. I weren't really a person that was hanging around with my own age or younger. I was always older people. So I was 14, and so I used to hang around with my brother's friends who were like 18, 19, that kind of age. And so I gravitated to them. But most of them were on the streets, and most of them did stuff, and most of them carry themselves in a certain way where you can't really trouble them, and if you did, there will be consequences. So, and because I fought with them, I saw them as cool. I saw them as they will protect you, and I saw them as there you ride or die. Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah,
because they
yeah,
looked after,
yeah.
and because they looked for my brother, automatically their love came onto me because they said, "Oh, that's little bro, that's little bro." So they came onto me. But then eventually, my brother left them, and I came their friends. So my brother weren't even their friends no more. So they're my mates now are used to be my brother's friends, but they're my close friends now. But back from then, they were always into stuff, doing drugs, going out, causing trouble. We used to do a lot of music back in the days, and music in our era, not this era that's here, was grime, and grime was a thing where you can speak about stuff, but people know it ain't real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just pure
Yeah. Yeah.
talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these days, you can't speak about stuff you don't do, and if you say it, you have to do it. So
Wow.
this is where things have changed. But in our era, they weren't like that. We used to have lyrical war and all that kind of stuff. We used to be in the same place as our enemy, but nothing would happen. It was just used to be music.
Right.
But eventually, things started to get worse because obviously when you talk about people's family, and even though you got a talent and you start disrespecting other people,
Mm.
it comes with a lot of vengeance and anger,
Right.
and that's where it all started to spill over from there.
Oh, so your brother left. Did your brother leave because he didn't want to be in that sort of affiliated? Right, keep your camera right there when you're speaking, because every time you move back, it gets a little shaky. So right there,
Okay.
you are perfect for the audience because we can't see you when you move
Okay.
back. Stay right. Because beautiful. You do remind me a bit of Wiley, by the way. I'm sure a lot of people tell you that. You do. Especially when you're speaking, I went, am I speaking to Wiley? Right, but let's stay right there. So when you're speaking, try not to go too far back because then I've got you. But anyway, your brother,
Okay.
you said that your
Okay.
brother left. Why? Did he think that They weren't good enough for him as well?
Nah, my brother, he's got that personality. He just moves on, and he just does
Ah.
his does his own thing. He's a person that he can hang around by himself, really. But if there's people ain't feeding him, he ups and leave. But with me, I'm loyal. It don't matter if they're not feeding me. I'll still support them.
Well, you felt that at the
Get-go.
time. You thought that at the time is basically what you're
Yeah.
saying at that time. Okay,
Yeah.
so here you are. You've said about yourself. You've gone into your roots. Why and how did you? I mean, it's up to you how much you want to say. Was it really that bad in the gangs? Because from what, people read things and people don't understand that a gang could be just 2 people. A gang could be 3 people. A gang could be a postcode war. Trust me, I know what a gang is. You know what I'm saying to you? I actually lived in Jamaica at the early years of my life. So I know what it's that, those attributes are. But I'm going to ask you a question. We're in the UK. This is different. Some places are concrete jungles, some aren't. Why? And what were the things that was in there? And how did you break out from the gangs? Why?
It was when stuff started. We got into a lot of fights and a lot of drama for no reason, just to get attention out and just to get our name about. And it was just the littlest things. And
are you for real?
Yeah, and there were certain areas that where we were throwing cough that we used to have to like go in groups of us to go to there, and there are certain areas because we had issues with other areas. We had to go in like packs, and sometimes when we just wanted to go to like JD and stuff in town centre, it would cause a complication, and we don't want to see certain people and all that kind of stuff. So it used to hinder us. And in my head, I was thinking, nah, man, this ain't the life. We're only young and we're being isolated already. But anyway, I carried on because I'm a loyal person. And then because I hang around with older lads, they were doing older stuff. So they would go to clubs, go to stuff, and I weren't old enough then, but I still went with them. And obviously there used to be fake ID back then. So I used to fake ID, and I got into a club. And as any young person that gets into a club when they're not allowed to, you're excited. You got a thrill.
Yeah,
With your
you're
people.
proper gassed. You're gassed.
Yeah, happy days. But a fight happened in town, and it was this is how unconscious we were. When you're in the thrill of something, you don't see your surroundings. And there were older people that we had a fight with from another area from rugby, and they were men, and we were only young. But we had a fight with them, and it went quite bad. And
bad as in someone died?
No, I died, but he could have. He could have. Because yeah. So when I ran off as how can I say this? I ran off like a person that never did no wrong, and didn't want to get caught, but I got caught. And when I got caught, that's when the reality started sinking in, and I got arrested and stuff, and I got kept in a cell for a very, very long time. I think it was longer than usual, but because I didn't know, I have no common sense to ask why. I didn't know, but I got kept till I think it was Friday night all the way till Monday.
Oh
And then I
wow,
had to
the
go
weekend
court.
as well. So they didn't even call your
Yeah.
parents or nothing. There was none of that.
Yeah, the maddest thing is, because my family is like churchgoers, my mum sensed there was something wrong, and she rang the police station. I said, "Have you got my son?" And they said, "What's his name?" Anton Noble. And they goes, "Yes, we got your son," and he's
Oh
being
wow.
questioned for the incident that happened. So yeah, but I didn't really. I came from a family, you can't really tell them kind of stuff to your parents.
Yeah.
And so I tried to keep things to myself, but obviously that kind of thing they found out. And it's just shame when you bring shame on your family. It's not nice. And
Yeah.
so I was carrying that with me, and then it came to a point where 4 of us were getting charged, and I was the youngest out of all of them. And a lot of things got said in the interview, and we got all taken to court. And I think one of them got sent down. He was the oldest, and because we were the youngest, we all got charged, but we all had to do a lot of community service and payback and all that kind of stuff. And so from there, I thought to myself, nah, this ain't the life, this ain't the way. So I started doing my going into work, into sports, what I was good at anyway. So I got a job, and then when I was in my job, still issues are with you, and if you don't resolve your issues, they still come for you. So when I was working, there was an issue that I got told by the receptionist that these boys were after me, and I was in the gym, instructing someone. I got the phone call saying there's 8 lads here coming to come for you, and I saw them come through the door. I had to run off out of work and run off and run until they couldn't get me, and then they left me alone.
Because you walked away from the gang, they actually came for you. Why?
So this weren't my people. This was the people. Because when you do stuff, and you ain't resolve stuff, you can't just leave. You still got a presence. Even though I personally myself, I weren't involved like that. I ain't gonna lie, I still was hanging around with them, but I was always the person, nah, I'm not getting that deep no more. Nah, I'm not doing it. But when you still chill with them, you're still one of them. It don't matter if you're not getting your hands dirty, you're still one of them. So when I went to work and stuff, I still represented them. And so because we still had issues with people, when you can let things go, but if the other person don't, it's still on.
And they knew that you went to court, didn't they? And they knew that you went to court.
Yeah.
That was still hanging. So as far as they're concerned, you're still involved.
Yeah. So then they chased me out my workplace and stuff. So then at work, these things you hide from your work. You don't want your work to know these kind of stuff. But when things happen at your work, it puts you at risk. It puts other people at risk. So then I had to speak to my manager and tell her stuff. And then and it just got all messy and stuff. And I said to myself, nah, what's going on? And you know what? And the thing is, this is what people don't understand. Sometimes when you associate with people that you're not supposed to associate with, it might seem fun and it might seem nice at the start, but you start losing control of your own life because other people around you have control of your life, and they say what you should do or what you can't do. Even my feelings when I used to come out of bed, I used to think, oh, I can't really bother to go to town because I don't want to see certain people. Even that is a fight. And then I'll ring up. Yeah, and then you have to ring up your friends, say, oh, can you come down with me and stuff. All that kind of stuff. It was just messy. But at the time,
you're friends in, aren't you? Even if your friends aren't in the gang, you're bringing people that's not in that gang with you, so they're at risk.
Yeah, you can't. And that's what it is. What you're known in the area, you're always known. But the thing about me, I always had respect. That's the thing. I always had respect. I always had manners to the older generation. Obviously, if you trouble me or say something, I'll say something back to you. But I never go out my way to hurt anyone. It was only if you hurt someone that I loved. And my friends I loved. But as time went on, my brother, he started going into stuff, into drugs. And there was a day where he got my dad tried to ring him about 75 times and he weren't answering the phone. And my dad rang me saying, I can't get to your brother. And I was like, oh, he's probably sleeping, leave him. And my dad's like, nah, something must be wrong. So I said to him, have you been there to his house? He goes, yeah, but he ain't answering. I goes, he's all right, just leave it. But I was in the gym with my 2 friends. And I kept saying, my brother Andre, I kept saying Andre to people in the gym. And people were like, why do you keep saying his name around? He's not here. But subconsciously I was saying his name and I didn't even know. So my friend said, do you want to go to his house? I goes, yeah. So we went to his house and he weren't answering. But in my heart, it's like something was telling me he's in there, and my conscience was so lively, and my friends were like, "Yo, you're going a little bit weird." I said, "I'm not. I can feel him." And so my friend smokes, but I don't smoke, and that's why I thank God, because so God equips you with all this kind of stuff. Because my friend, he smokes, and he put a light out to the door and opened the doors because it's a fire exit. So we went in easily, and then we went to his door. He didn't answer, but I could feel him. So I said to my friend, I'm going to kick down the door because I don't know if he's in there or something must be happening to him. So when I kicked down the door, he was in there, and he was on the bed, dead, really, dead,
Oh,
yeah.
oh my
And
God,
so,
Anton, I'm so sorry. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
so, oh, wait. Put my two friends obviously were scared what they saw. And my friend that was there, his best friend died. So he saw a lot of death, so he didn't want to get involved. So I ran up to him to see him, and his face was gone grey, his tongue was massive. But something in me was saying, I found him for a reason. So he
Right.
can't just go like this.
Yeah.
So I started doing mouth to mouth compression on him and all that kind of stuff, because obviously I did first aid in the gym. And I started trying to help him. And he was trying to gasp for air.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
yeah, he was fighting. He was still fighting. But I was called the ambulance. Ambulance came. They took him. They started doing the compressions. Said we have to take him to the hospital now, or he's gonna die. Took us to the hospital, and then all my friends came there because he's well known. So a lot of people knew him, and they came there to support. And my mum and dad were there, and all that kind of stuff. I was looking out the window, and I was saying, and this is I promise you, I was against God. Everything. Even though I grew up in church, I didn't like church. And I swear that there was no one I could turn to. And my brother, I looked up to. He was like my idol. Like, he was everything that I wanted to see in a person. And I said to God, I said, if you save him now, I'll give my life to you. And yeah, the doctor came in and said, we're gonna turn off the machine in 5 minutes because he's not responding. So everyone started feeling sorry, crying and stuff, and all started crying. And I said to my mum, I bet you've been to church and you forced me to go to church, but where's your faith? Where's it gone? You ain't gonna go. There's some reason I was meant to find him. And I said to her, that doctor that's told us that he's gonna turn off the machine, the doctor's gonna go back in and say that he's started to breathe again. And literally 3 minutes, his heart was beating, and the doctor came in and said, I don't know how, and I don't know why he should have brain damage. He should be mashed up. He should be not responding. But some reason that his body was so cold, it actually kept him alive because he was so cold.
Oh,
And
wow.
they warmed him up, and his heart was beating. And he's still with me here today, and he's 30.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and
You understand? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
yeah, he's still here today. So from there, I said to myself, nah, that weren't no coincidence. That was literally God putting his hands on me and my brother, and I gave my life. And ever since there, I turned my life 360 around, and I've continued on, and this is where GYM was formed.
That's the question I was just about to ask you. So, you know, on the back of all of that, that was a wake-up call and a half. You knew that you had friends around you that took drugs and were living a life that it's not like you fully supported that lifestyle, but you knew what was going on. When did you form Gym, and why the name Gym?
So gym was formed because I love the gym. So anyone that knows me for Cov, they know me as a gym man. And I was on the bench, and there was a time where I was going through stuff in my life, like hard times in my life, and I was on the bench, and something just came in saying, "Why don't you make it gym?" And guiding young minds came to my mind, and it was a name where, because a lot of kids and youth don't like to be labelled and say people are working with you, and people are doing this, and they don't like social services stuff. I wanted a name where kids can say, "Oh, who's that guy working here?" They can say, "I'm from the gym. I'm going to PT on them." But behind closed door, I'm actually working on them to get them out their situation, work on
Got
their
you.
anger, work on their
Got you.
emotion, all under cover. So yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
like a protection, because the kid can't change if they don't feel safe. So
Oh, and so that's where
and so
so that's where guiding young minds. Now, in between that,
yeah.
you started guiding young minds. Was that by yourself? What was the support like to get guided? Yeah, stay right there. Right there. Do not move. Guiding young minds is why you called it that. Because obviously, because even when I saw the name Gym, I thought gymnastics, gym, what? But then you had the gym intervention. So you were a personal trainer. So you studied to be a personal trainer.
Yeah.
What other attributes what other courses did you take on to start up this guiding young minds? Because I know, but I want you to tell everybody else, what did you do? What was you were doing an outreach? You was an outreach worker, weren't you?
Yeah, so I went to a service called Voice for Children and Young People Services, and it was based in Northamptonshire, and they used to work with victims.
Okay.
And when I used to work with the kids, a lot of the Northampton kids were attracted to me because I bring myself, how I carry myself. But it weren't victims; it was gang members. And so I
Oh,
thought in my head, I was thinking, oh, this is strange. But anyway, I started speaking to them, and then, but the community and professionals didn't see them as victims, but I did, because hurt people hurt people because they're hurt. So they're victim of something, but we don't know the root of why they're victims. And so I started saying to my manager, I think they're victims of why we need to support them. And I think there's a gap because no one wants to work with these gang kids because they're scared of them. And it's a reason they were attracted to me. So I thought, oh, that must be a God given gift. Let me start something and jump on the wave. So I asked my manager, could I do it? And she said, yeah. So she gave me permission to go ahead and do what think of a name, the colour, and how the intervention is going to work. And I literally tailored it to how I was, where to speaking to therapists about things that you've been through and the trauma and the side effects, and the mentor it came from. I think people think that you need someone from a life that's from that life to be a mentor of these kids that are involved in gangs, but you don't. You just need someone that could show the child another life, another way of living and stuff. Because my person that mentors me now, if you saw the person that mentors me now, you'll think, how are you being mentored by that woman? And I promise you, it this woman has done so much. I even call her my mother. That's how deep it is. She's literally shown me another way, and it weren't that her life, it was her heart, and that's what people don't
ah,
understand. Yeah, it was a heart. A lot of people got gifts, and it's nice when people got gifts and stuff. But when you got a gift and the other person's got a gift, and it's the same, and you can't really compete with each other because you're doing the same thing, but you're
same
both
thing,
good. So
right? Right.
yeah, so you can't give to each other because you're both good anyway. The only ounce that you could give is you, and that's your heart. And her heart was bigger than mine, and I was and the mercy and grace that she was having, it was just pouring onto me, and it was changing my heart. So when I used to see angry and stuff, she used to give me another way of seeing stuff. Like, don't take that to destroy you. Take that to heal you, and take that to make yourself stronger. I see these kind of words that didn't come from no man. That didn't come from no person that was involved in violence and all that kind of stuff. That came from a person that grew up from a good home and went through stuff in her life and wanted to show her wisdom onto me. And to be fair to God, be the glory. That's why all these kind of people are around me, and I keep them next to me, because as iron sharpens iron, so I literally.
I like that. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, well, iron sharpens iron. So my friends that I was with, I told them what I'm gonna do. Some of them were like, yeah, and then others, there was one of my friends who were like, yeah, man, do it. At the start, I was thinking, oh my God, if I do this, they're going to think I'm taking kids and customers off them and taking money off them, because I get the kids to stop doing what they're doing, so someone's losing out. And then I used to think about, oh, what if there's repercussions and all this kind of stuff. And then I thought to myself, if the kid really wants to change, they've never been for that person anyway. It was just a moment in their life where they felt that they had to do it. So if they came to me and wanted to come out, they've always wanted to come out from the start. So then I started thinking, why am I fearing something when I'm already around them kind of people? So then I just started doing it. And because I was the only one in Northamptonshire that was like that, literally every single school was all over me. And one man can't cover the whole of Northamptonshire. So we had to go for funding, and then I made a team, and the team came together of mentors, and therapists, and now we cover Northamptonshire.
I'm going to ask you about that, the funding. So, do you know what I'm saying to you? I want to, I know why you've now got gym. And, where people say, what does gym mean? I'm going to say, when a child or a young person seeks help from the gym team, you look after them at their own goals, work to achieve what they want from themselves. Does that mean exiting them from gangs, taking them away from an environment of living at home with their family who they can't speak to their parents, whether it be single mother or a father, or if there's abuse that's going in? It's how you measure how they are, you measure how they are before and after to ensure that what they're doing is going to make a difference in their life. Have I got that right?
Yeah, that's totally right.
And that's what I understand, and that's what you do. Now, I know I don't really want you to go back, but explain, what are the things that you are up to in gun culture today? Because I'm going to go, as I said, we're going to go full circle before we tell them what Jim is actually doing right now. So just give me a brief synopsis, because you're in it, you see it. I've seen your testaments on your websites. So you're dealing with a lot of gang culture and youth violence. So explain, what are the things that youth are up to and are against in gang culture?
I'm literally honest with everything I say, and most of the kids, it's got to another level. I
can see that.
There ain't no respect. They don't respect their elders. They think showing morals and manners is weak, and they see disrespecting their parents or father as cool, and chasing clout, running after attention, and that clout, what they're running after, never satisfies. You never be satisfied. You're always chasing it. It don't matter what you do. So when they're stabbing a child or beating up a child, they're chasing after that thrill all the time, and it's never satisfied. And to the point where they start losing their own self. And most of these kids at a young age are losing their mind. And there's some kids I actually work with. You could tell mental health is in some of these kids because of their eyes. And when you look through their eyes, there ain't nothing there. And it's so sad to see a child that's 14 not even have a passion to live anymore. Not if it's scared of death. Yeah, not if it's scared. I've had kids say to me, I don't care if I die. It's one of them. Everyone dies. And they're not even lived. They ain't gone out of the area yet. They saw nothing.
Do they say why they feel like that? I mean, I don't want to break any confidentiality, but I just want to hear it from you who deal with these children, to let other people know this is something that is not going to go away. It's what's happening now. Do they say?
Yeah, they speak about death more than life, and life's boring. It's just for money, reputation. They have little glimpse of that little kid coming back out and in. It's like they go through like split personalities. Sometimes I'll sit down with her for an hour and I'll be sometimes speaking to two different people. Yeah, and that's how you can tell that the trauma is so severe, and the mental breakdown through drugs, for because most people smoke cannabis to cope with what they're seeing, and then they go on harder drugs to to forget stuff, and they when the drug wears off, the memories come back, and the memories never go because it's in their head, and they can go anywhere to different cities, but their head don't leave them, and it's what these kids don't understand. It don't matter where you come from, your mind always goes with you, and that's it's quite powerful and sad that these young generation are witnessing depression for a 12-year-old, suicidal thoughts from 10, uh, not neglecting with their health and stuff, but neglecting with their emotions. And even speak to people on a normal level, like face to face, there's some kids don't even know how to speak face to face anymore. It's only, yeah. It's all these noises now for how they speak.
Yeah, like one words. Everything's yeah, blood, yeah, fam.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
sentences. There's none. Do you know what I
Nah,
mean? What's that all about?
yeah, it's all changed. It's all gone. It's all a microwave generation. It's quick thing.
Microwave. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just found that funny.
Yeah, it's microwave. They don't like the other food, good food. They like the microwave, quick time. Let's go, let's do it. And that's why with the violence, quick time, stab, stab, gone. No long thing. I ain't into no fighting for 2 minutes. I'm into finishing it in 3 seconds. Done.
So the ones that have come to you then, the ones that you have come that again, without breaking any confidentiality, I guess you've had those who have committed violence. They probably haven't been caught and they want to come out of the gang. Have you had people that want to actually come out of the gang itself? How have you been able to make that transition?
For the kid.
Successful is what I should say.
For the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just break it down into scenarios. So I bring up their life and what they're in, and then I bring up what they want, and then I bring up what they need, and I'll bring up what they want because most of what they want is not what they want; it's what they see on others.
Right.
Yeah, and
right.
what they need is what they really want, but because when they ask for what they need and they never got, their mind has set themselves to what they want to thrive. Right. And so I work on their inner values and what they believe they need for themselves to cope in life. And most of the time is that they say to me is, I need attention. I need to be secure.
Wow.
I need to be seen. I need to be loved, and I need to be heard. And that's literally one of the 5 values of any life person that can grow a kid. And that's the 5 elements of someone to grow good. And that's all these kids search for. So because they don't understand it, they express it in different ways.
Yeah.
So being seen, I'm going to be seen through violence. That's how you're going to see me. Being heard, you're going to hear me say disrespectful words, disrespect to my mom. You're hearing me now because you didn't hear me before.
Right.
Getting what I want, I'll take what's yours. I saw it on you, and so I'm going to take yours. And if I can't get it on, I'll take your life for what I want.
Holy Jesus.
Yeah, and there ain't no price. So what they want, there ain't a price they will take a child's life. I could say a Gucci belt is worth more than life to them. That's how simple it could be.
So a Gucci bag is worth more than someone's life, basically.
Yeah, and AirPods that they have, and these scooters that rather stab someone and kill someone for that. They ain't got no price on life. And I then in tune with them and say to them, you are a child that your mom can never replace. No one in the world can ever replace you. Your fingerprints are one in the whole world. There's got to be no one literally like you. That means you're the rarest kind of trainers, whatever you want to call it, about what you love, all that no one can ever replace and copy again. And you're going to let your life that you've got a little bit control of take someone else's life for something that you're worth more than. So you're devaluing yourself lower than that belt because
Yeah.
you're putting that belt higher than you. And
Yeah.
I'll start speaking to them in that way and that kind of stuff. And once I start speaking in a language where they say, oh yeah, I didn't think of that, because I have to challenge that who they look up to. And sometimes their elders are the ones that are programming them to think that way.
Well, coming to the elders is what you're saying. And someone has already made a comment saying the schools are failing so many of these kids and they're being rejected from the mainstream. And that's a massive thing because she works within that infrastructure. Now, you know, the question that I'm going to put to you is this. Do you think, all right, there's a couple, music, family, because remember you said back in the day, grime was like, you could blah, blah, blah. But now grime is such drill. You got drill, you got grime. You know, I can't blame it because I'm in the music industry and I'm not saying that everything I hear is nice, but what's coming out from all of these music is so depressing. And half of them, when these guys in these gangs or pretend, to me, I'm sorry, I'm going to say some are in pretend gangs, but you've just hit the nail on the head. They want to be seen. So to be seen, you need to sing lyrics or rap lyrics that shows profanity, promotes violence, because that person needs to be seen. But take them away from the lyrics that you've just talked about. There's nothing wrong with their life. They don't live in the ghetto. They don't live in the slums. They don't come from a council house estate. And I'm not knocking any of those names that I've just called. Do you understand? But to them, that they have to give it a word that they come from the ghetto. Is that, would you say, in the kids that you deal with, that analogy that I've given is what some of these people portray?
So the kids that I work with, the high risk ones, they do come from that kind of life, and that's the real thing about it. Because most of these kids that do the music are doing the music to get out of that life. So
Okay.
all they're doing is singing about their pain and what their life is. But it's not like they want people to jump on it. The real ones that speak real and say and start speaking, they'll speak about their life, but then they'll start saying the pain and tears that it caused my mother and all that kind of stuff. They want the people to hear it and say, wow, right, that's his journey.
Yeah.
But they don't want you to imitate it and copy it. Because when you see rich kids, or not rich kids, but kids that come from good families and stuff, imitating it, speaking like it, these lads that are lifted don't want that to happen. They just want to tell their story.
Yeah.
But it's come into a fashion where it's glamorous to say you're from a council estate. It's glamorous to say you're from a broken home. It's glamorous to say, why, all this kind of patois, all this kind of stuff. It's all glamorous now.
Right, yes.
So it's a trend. So all these kids say, even though they don't come from these council estates, they'll say, yeah, man, my mum, I let her to leave my mum's house because I couldn't deal with her. So now I live at my uncle's house. He lives in a council estate. Yeah, he lived there. It worked because his mum didn't want to listen to him. He lives there because he's living in a council estate. His uncle's living in a council estate and he wants it to be a trend. That's what that is. It's all for clout. It's all for attention. And most of these rappers that do their stuff that have made it big, look at all the rappers that used to do drill are all trying commercial because they don't want that life anymore. They're growing up.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
That's what these kids. But also, council estates and stuff control urban streets, and urban streets are widely ranged in many cities and towns, and wherever the worst council estate is, or what kind of place, that has the most power over the whole city. So any area in Birmingham, Coventry, London, all that kind of stuff, you say the worst area, and I guarantee you, people will be afraid of it. The latest trend comes out of it. All the shops and stuff will tailor themselves around that area. Yeah, it's all info. It's emphasized.
Yes, yes.
And it's increased, and it's people are feeding it, and these are powerful people that feed it as well. It's not just the council street people. There's powerful people feeding this agenda.
Yeah,
powerful people.
So okay, so here we are. What are the pitfalls you have when you come across, the parents who are trying to keep their children safe from drugs, sex, and the gangs? Because, when you see some of these young girls, right? I'm scared. I'm not even scared. I'm scared. I'm frightened because at 14, I just wanted to, nails and all sorts of different things. I wasn't worried so much about, I want to, lie down with that man and the language that they all use, etc., etc. And so even like recently in London, just the other day, a young, I think she was not even 10 years old, and it's a terrible story, man. There's, even though they put it down to him having mental health issues, but there's men out there grooming these young girls. Grooming. Do you understand? Would you say, again, you're talking about attention, do you think that some of these girls who fall into the grooming pattern, again, it's because they're seeking attention, because they're not getting that from home?
Back in the days, schools used to teach you, or people used to say to you, professionals used to say, oh, gang members come outside the school and they wait for kids to come out of the school, and they go to the ones that look poor, all that kind of stuff. It's not like that now. The way that's grooming methods happening is kids are actually going to these drug dealers and men. They're going to them. It's not like these gangs are going for them. These kids are going to them. They want to be involved in them. They ask to get put on. They ask to say, oh, come on, let me be involved. Why? Because their name's about. They're the people that you need to be with. All that kind of stuff. And social media is so powerful. You don't even have to be next to a person. Back in the days, my mum and dad wouldn't let me speak to anyone. If my mum didn't know their mum or dad, they ain't coming through this door. They ain't doing nothing. You couldn't do nothing. I had to use my mum's phone or the telephone to ring my friend, but my mum had to know their parents. These days, a kid can have their phone, and any man, any woman, anyone could go in their house through the phone, through social media. So there ain't no barriers anymore. Anyone can get access to their kid. They'll be in their room, or go to your room, you know it. They have their phone. They're talking to anyone. That person's in their room with them on the phone, but their parents are downstairs and stuff.
Well, how do parents govern that? How do parents govern that? I'm not saying you've got all the answers. I know that we're going to come to the services that you do, but I wanted to get these kind of questions out from you, and I love the things that you're saying. But how do you, I'm sure you've had parents that's come to you, and I know you run a service that you try to enable the parents as well to make sense of their children, because parents need help in this day and age. Parents are now needing help. It's not them days where you could get, you look at the child and the child, you give the child one look and the child knows, don't misbehave. You turn and say to them, sit your ass down, and they'll sit their ass down. Now it's like, who do you think you're talking to? You're 14-year-old.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
It is, but there's some parents that I work with, men and female, that are scared of their kids. That are literally scared of their kids. and if the kids are literally the parents in the house, and they don't, and they have to pick their fights with them. See, back in my days, my parents had picked their fights with what was said was said, and if I didn't like it, there's the door. That's how it was. But I'm not saying that it needs to be like that now. But so these kids, even I ain't gonna lie. So there's some kids that I watch disrespect their parents, and my inner value gets so hurt because I think, what are you doing? And then when I was trying to, because sometimes I can't intervene, because if I intervene, the kids will only see the parents strong when I'm there, and I'm not always going to be there. So I have to leave it and let them see how they deal with it. Then after it calms down, that's when I'll speak to them and say, so you could have done this. And sometimes you didn't even have to say nothing. He knew that he did wrong. He wanted the reaction out of them. And all that kind of stuff. But we, as I said, with this kind of work, even though I support families, I learn of families as well. And what works for one family may not work for another family. So I literally work with each other, and I speak to the parents more than the kids, because they are the head of the house, and if their mind ain't right, and if they can't cope, it don't matter how you do with a kid, they will still go back to a house that ain't functioning well. So I have to make sure that the parents are focused and got the strength to cope with the child that they have as well.
Oh, wow. Which brings me to this. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to go on to the service that you have. I didn't want to use this, but do you think single parenting is also becomes an issue for youngsters losing their way? Is that harsh?
No, it's not even harsh, because most of these youngers that are on involved, or say they're involved, have single parents. But I know a lot of single parents that are better than people that are couples, and their kids are straight now and stuff. And you see actually the daughter and the son actually working together with their mum, but not. It's this when it goes wrong. It's when the son thinks he's the man, and the daughter thinks she has to fulfill the woman. That's not it. It's when the son stays a son, but he's supporting the mother in a battle of life together, instead of the son coming a man, pay for bills in the house, to come to fit a shoe that is never meant to fit for his mom
in the first place. Yes.
Yeah. And you can't fit in someone else's shoe that's never meant for you. And so when a child starts coming out, he starts getting angry with himself because he feels like he ain't fulfilling what he believes he has to. But it's never been his job in the first place to do that. And there's some parents that I've worked with where the child has done bad and had to sell drugs to help his family, and the family got used to the money. So when he got set down, this lad got set down to jail, I had the mother crying to me, saying, what I'm going to do, Anton, I was depending on that money. What I'm going to do now?
Wow.
She didn't really say nothing about him going to jail. She only about the money. And that's not saying that she didn't care about her son. That's saying the struggle that she went through to let her son to do that, and then it came right in her mind that it was right for him to do that because he's helping her. But this is how people need to see it, that drug dealing is bad and violence is bad. It is. But if you ain't giving the kids opportunities, and the drug dealers are, and the gangs are, how can you call something bad when you ain't got something good to replace it? They're the ones that are entertaining them, and they're the ones that are giving these kids money to put electric in their house, to put shoes on their babies, kids, and all that kind of stuff. But these parents will go to these big companies, gas, electric, saying they can't afford it. Can you help them? And these big companies are saying, no, we can't help you. We want the money. So then these abuses will come.
I've heard that story. Not a few times, where the son is the drug dealer And you know, once the money dried up, the family couldn't cope because they were getting that money for TV, they got food, they had lavish clothes, going out, and they were upset with him for not being able to supply them with the life they became accustomed to. So it's a double-edged sword, isn't it, really? And I love what you just said, which is, if you've got nothing good to offer that child, then the child is going to go somewhere the good is going to be offered to them. Or they've grown up in an environment. Sorry, you were going to say?
It's whatever they offer the child. I always say when I work for a child, what's missing from your home? Because that's what every child searches.
Powerful, very powerful.
And it's the foundation of every person, the home. And whatever's missing from the home is whatever they're searching for. So it could be a father's gone, a mother's gone, a mother or father's there, but they're not there. They're not there. They're there physically, but they're not there in presence. They don't speak to the kids. They don't do nothing with the kids. They're just there. And sometimes the parents feel that their being there is enough, but it's not. And this is why these kids search on stuff and go on YouTube and find out stuff and then they go out and do elsewhere. But that's where I start. The foundation. I start from the foundation, and I build bricks on the foundation. And I say to them, whatever you're trying to find out there, you'll never find. And you may not be able to restore it in your house because it's gone. But there is always good people that surround you that you've missed notice of, that have tried to help you, but you're neglecting. And that's where we start building the bricks.
Wow.
So don't have to, even though the father's gone, that they don't have to have a biological father to be someone's father. Sometimes it's like, as I said, I call my manager my mother, because I see her as a mother, and she's nothing to me, no blood, no nothing. And I say that. And sometimes it's good people that you have around you that fill the bricks and your foundation.
Yeah.
And that's how I work with the kids. I start from the very foundation, the root of why they're doing it.
Well, I'm going to go to that. So everyone now knows that you run a gym, and you know there's a lot of services. I think they'll have to go to your website. But what services do you offer within the gym infrastructure? And I'm going to list them, but I want you to tell, what do you offer?
So we offer mentoring, so that's one-to-one. And we also offer workshops in schools, presentation, drama. We offer therapist support. We offer virtual support. We've got a gang line that's always on, that you always can ring 24/7. We've got a WhatsApp group that if you need any help and support, that's always on. We have outreach as well, which we're on the streets in Coventry, that's in every area that's been called high risk, and we go there to engage with the youth. And there's a thing where they say some organizations can't work with different gangs. That's a lie. You can, because we work with most of all the kids in that rivalry of each other. We ain't got hurt. So it all depends on your approach. If you're not a threat, they won't see me as a threat.
Right.
That's how that is.
So you have one that you do with assisted trauma care, which you've also got within your infrastructure. What is the assisted trauma care? What does that do? Because it says here it's trained to deal with post-traumatic stress disorder and the after effects of trauma in line with current evidence-based practices. Can you just sort of like explain that a little bit? Just give a brief synopsis.
Yeah, the assist trauma care deals with that's the therapist side of gym. So assist trauma care deal with homicide, grievance, deaths, people that suffer high trauma of loss, marital breakdowns, son diagnosed with illness, all that kind of stuff, they support, and it's a UK base, so they're scattered around everywhere, and
That's
it's a
fantastic.
charity. Yeah, so my manager, Barbara, she's the one that runs all that, and Jim is a branch of Assist.
Okay.
So Assist is divine, and Jim is the branch.
Got
And,
you. So when they contact Jim, so if someone contacts Jim, and once you've taken the details from them, you know where to put them. So you have the Assist Trauma Care. You've also got the community initiative, Reduce Violence, as well. Is that correct? Is that another arm of what you do?
No, so that's a partnership of who we support as well. So they're community initiative, Reduce Violence. So they support kids that are on the risk of going to jail, and they work with them to keep them reoffending. So we support them as well.
Okay, so these are I'm listing them all here so people can see them, and I'm gonna let you go by one. So I also know you said about specialist therapists within the gym team, and they're all trained and qualified to provide therapy. How were these people sourced and brought on board?
So these are all from Assist Trauma Care. So they're already in our system. Yeah, they're already in our system anyway. So they're scattered everywhere.
I love that.
And they're dealing with high cases as well.
Branch. Someone has just asked, are there any branches in Wales?
Yeah, I wish there was. I wish we was in Wales. I believe Assist maybe the therapist, and maybe a therapist near there, but I don't think they're fully in there, but close to there will be. But with Jim, not yet.
Okay, but if people, you are still able to offer assistance online without having to see someone in, personally. The next question I'm going to say to you, so this is also another thing. Now, the Daniel Kennel Foundation, what is this? I mean, I can read it out. It's an independent charitable foundation, but why was one of these attached to Jim?
So the Daniel Canal Foundation,
that was the
DK Foundation. That was a lad that I used to play football with back in the days, and sadly a few years ago he got stabbed and lost his life by someone that's supposed to be his friend, and the family was grieving, and because they lost their son. That was her only son. She's got a lot of daughters, but that was her only son, and he was like the apple of their eye to all of them, and he lost his life. And so when I was doing stuff in Northamptonshire, they heard about what I was doing in Northamptonshire, and they wanted it in Coventry, and so I brought it out to Coventry, and I started supporting their charity, and we started doing stuff to support them and make knife awareness. So we did songs, we put Christmas songs out, we went and outreach, we put football matches on, we're doing loads of stuff. And to be fair, they're the ones that actually gave me the passion to continue and to go harder and continue to go harder. Until this day, they still support me and we support each other. We're actually going out next week in Santa outfits to give out gifts to every child and families, and we're giving out more gifts so families can bless other families which can't afford to give gifts to other families. So
I think that's fantastic. Apart from yourself at Jim, because you're not a sole entity, I know there's someone called Sam, and there's a video. I don't know if you don't mind me playing this. I won't play it all the way through, but who's this?
My name is Curtis Liebert, I'm 35 years old. I was born in the city of Coventry. Basically, when I was at the age 3, my father and mother unfortunately split up. One day we were going to school as normal, myself and my 2 older brothers, and all of a sudden we took a different route. It wasn't until later on that day we arrived in Nottingham. So yeah, 14, 15, I started getting in a lot of trouble. decided to leave school. Started off with just basic things, stealing from shops, you know, silly things like that. So one day we were driving with this guy and he pulled up his car at this park. He literally jumped out of his car. He went to the boot, he took out snooker cue extension and he ran to this guy and he beat this guy, you know, quite badly. Obviously, I ended up going to prison. I was on a remand unit, 15, 17-year-olds. For me, that was really hard. Basically, it come to a time where we needed money every day. We wasn't working, we wasn't earning. Started selling crack, cocaine and heroin. Literally made little or no money. Say the laptops on the back seats was quite common. And we saw a guy sitting there in an Audi A3. Let's carjack this car. When the guy woke up, he obviously said, get out of the car. We pulled him out of the car. The next day, police, they came to me. Obviously, they arrested me. I was basically told, expect between 5 to 8 years. You know, I was scared. I'll be honest, I was 17, 18. I thought I was a man, but I was still a boy. I wanted to use prison as my life changer, as something that, you know, that made a difference. So I started doing education. I always had a job inside prison, whether that be on the laundry or serving the food. It was coming towards the time when I had to apply for early release. I had a real big decision to make here. You know, my heart was saying, go back to your mum, go back to Nottingham. And then my head was telling me, no, you need to change where you are, what you're doing. You need to get away from the influences that you are currently around. As soon as my tag was off, I got a job straight away. And that just sort of set me on the path, you know, providing for myself, earning my own money. My life was sort of slowly, you know, getting back on track, sort of going towards the way that I wanted it to go. I'm a true believer in it's never ever too late to make a change, and you're never in too deep to make a change.
I guess he's one of the guys. Has he ever come and spoken at one of your seminars? Because you go around the country speaking in schools, and you mentioned,
yeah.
Has this chap been with you as well?
Yeah, he works for us now.
That's why I wanted to know. I know he does.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to tell people who he is.
Yeah. His name is Curtis. He's one of our mentors and outreach workers now. And yeah, he's very talented, very gifted. He's an artist as well, just music, but just very positive music. And yeah, he's been brilliant with. He's taught me a lot of stuff, and I've showed him a lot of stuff, and we're literally working together,
Conquering the world.
Oh yeah, try to, yeah. And then the gym team is for there's at the minute there's 8 of us. So we've got,
and their names are, give you the name.
The names are, so the names are, so you got me, you got Curtis, you got Callum, and we've got a new female called Danae. And she comes from whenever. She's very powerful as well. And then we've got Susie, that's a therapist. We've got Karina, that's a therapist. And we've got Claire, she's a therapist. And then we've got volunteers called Lewis Maynard. And then we've got one called William Conwell. And we've got one called Claire.
Hi, guys. I'm saying hello to all of you. I don't know if you're online, but hello to everyone at gym, because you guys are doing an amazing job. So you've got these are the other services. I'm just going to flash them up on the screen that you guys deal with. I know Lisa Lashes, so I guess you still got Lisa Lashes. You got the School of Music, because I remember her talking about this program about 1.5 years ago. And does she still run this program with you guys?
Yeah. We're still linked with her, yeah.
Yeah, Lisa Lashes, she's really cool, and I'm really glad that she's making strides down there in the Midlands. Also, you've got the Youth Endowment Fund.
Yes.
We've also got the Compound, which is in Wellingborough. We deliver sessions, Calonestic Street workouts. And these are not just, these are for children and adults. And, you know, from the age of 5 upwards, you were saying. So you have an entity of funders that are within your infrastructure that makes gym works. Am I correct?
Yeah. They're all part of the body that gets the work and gives kids opportunities to see different ways of life.
Okay. And that helps with what you guys are doing, because you can't do it alone. You know, one of the last things before this interview, if there's anything else, you're now acknowledged as the UK's leading mentor working with young people caught up in gangs. Was you aware of that?
Nah.
Well, you are. You are now
really?
acknowledged. Oh, yeah, you are. You are acknowledged as one of the UK's leading mentors that works with young people caught up in gangs. Now, that's not just in Nottingham or Northamptonshire or Coventry. You are leading in the UK. So, Anton, you are making strides. You are making a difference. And I'm going to flash these things again for people that doesn't understand what gym is all about. They have a service that deals with specialist therapists, and they're trained and skilled to help and support traumatized adults, not just the children. And from people who, one of the things I didn't even mention is this. You've got people, the testimony that I've seen, testimonials that I've seen is where people who have been abused, or people who, whether it be children or adults, who've witnessed trauma, witnessed an incident or a homicide, and don't like to speak, speak to the police. That's hard, because the gangs, you were speaking earlier about the gangs that will get them because it's not resolved, and they don't want people to speak up if they've shot or stabbed or hurt someone. And you run I guess I might just correct me, you run a facility to aid people to understand that being a witness is not such a bad thing, and help them to coach them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
There's a big thing on snitching and snakes and all this kind of stuff. And this word, if you ask many youths, some adults, so they don't understand what it is. And most of the time when you speak to a kid about being a witness or standing up, they'll be like, I ain't gonna be no snitch. I ain't be no snitch. You mad? So I literally turn their narrative and use it against them. And so their narrative is, if you speak anything that you're not meant to speak, you're a snitch. So a person can hurt me and I can't ask for help. I'll be a snitch if I ask for help. Or if I'll be a snitch if I go to a person that I feel that can help me. I'm a snitch. And all that kind of stuff. So I put these kids, I do it in most of these schools now. I do it in assemblies and class and in school class rooms. And I say to the two best friends, I always get two best friends, and I'll bring them up and I'll say an incident, a scenario that could happen. And I most of it I say, if your friend died and he passed away and you knew who killed him, and their parents came up to you and said to you, please tell me who killed my son. We know you were there. What would you say? Most of the times the kids will say nothing. They won't tell them. And then that's when I start exposing them. Because these scenarios have happened in real life where best friends have been there when they saw their friends die and they won't tell their parents who did it. I say to the kids, your loyalty is with your friend that passed away, not with the person that killed your friend. When you shut your mouth, your loyalty goes to the person that killed your friend, not to your friend.
Amen.
And if you're close to your friend, their mum and dad should be like your mum and dad. So all my friends, I call their mums my mum. I call my friends their dad. I treat them like, so if they ask me a question, I will honor them like my mother and father. So if my friend died next to me and they ask who did it, I will say, as my mother asked me a question, I will speak. A snitch ain't a person who gets hurt and is a victim. A snitch is a person that does a crime with someone and doesn't want to get the punishment and speaks on his friend, so his friend gets worse punishment than him because he doesn't want to deal with the consequence. It's someone that's done stuff with the other person and wants to get out of the situation. That's a snitch. A snitch ain't a person if someone's getting stabbed and killed and he needs to go to ask help, or a kid got punched in the face at school, but you can't go to the teacher because they'll call him a snitch. That's not a snitch. So I'm turning in a narrative on all that kind of stuff, because snitch is also the thing that makes a lot of children getting killed and dying. And there could be prevention from that early if a child spoke. But because this word snitching is so powerful, it's sending kids to their early grave. So I'm destroying it. I'm literally saying to these kids, don't let these adults, because the same adults that tell you not to snitch are the same adults that are doing it, and the same adults that are talking. That I said, everyone talks, everyone does it. There ain't not one person that ain't talked. They all do it, and there'll always be a time when you're gonna talk. So don't let these people say it to you, because I say to them, speaking is power. Letting your feelings out is power. Telling the truth is power. Never lie. Never let lie be the truth, but let truth always stand. And I always say to a child, don't follow fashion, because fashion these days, back in our days, we used to do chicken burns. But chicken burns now, and we used to use coins. You used to use coins to whack on our knuckles and used to bleed. That kind of things are self-harming, but we classed it as fun. But that's really self-harming. But because it was a trend, we all did it. So I say to these kids, because things come into trend, don't just do it. You have to question, why is it cool, and why are people doing it? Where did it start from? How did the person emotion feel when it started that? These things they don't ask. So I always say to the kids, you speak before you hear. Hear and be slow to speak. And then you'll start realizing things that you're hearing are not always true. Right. And so that's how. So I give strength to the witness people that, and I support them. I echo their voice. Whatever they want to say, I am fully there to support it.
I love what you do. I love what you do. And one of the mottos that I know that you use is, I'm not going to ask you to give testimonies because you've given a few already, but the slogan that I know that you like to use is, you're never in too deep to make a change.
Yeah.
And I guess with you using that motto, would you say that, I just think it's such a powerful caption, to be fair. You're never in too deep, and it's not just about drugs. It's not just about sexual abuse. It's not about verbal abuse. It's not just about domestic abuse. It's not even about, dealing with the police, or, you want to make changes in your life. When I hear you quote that slogan, you're never in too deep to make a change, that should mean about everything in your life, whether an adult or a child. And, thank you for sharing that with me. When I saw that today, it resounded, it resonated, because we tend to forget that even within COVID that we're in now, there's so many things that we resorted to that we would never have done on a normal day, So our lives have changed. But one thing that hasn't changed is the same violence and the gangs and the killings. It's still there. The COVID hasn't changed that at all. And I guess when I'm praying that normality will resume fairly quickly, it may rise. And I hope it doesn't, but it's going to be on the rise. As I was, someone in the chat room just said, Lulu just said, someone tried to do the same thing on the bus again to groom another young, another young child. What is that all about? What is that?
Yeah.
Tell me, Anton. All of a sudden, grown men are trying to get 10-year-olds.
Yeah, it's I think way I look at it, a man physically could be a man, but mentally he's still a kid. So some of these men, yeah, and it's and you know how I could pick up these kind of stuff in a lot of older generation is I listen to what they say out their mouth, and that's when I know their intentions and sometimes you just know when someone's not they're not at their age bracket, they're speaking lower than they should, and they're acting and how they get on. I get down with the kids and stuff, but there's a barrier that they know I'm this person, but I could get down with this, but I am this guy. But there's so men that literally you won't know no difference. You'll think they're a kid, but they're men. And I think mentally they're young, and the inside, the inner man ain't grew, and their desires are changed. And because they ain't most of these grown-ups that do these to these young girls, they're not. Some of them don't get challenged because a lot of people are scared to challenge them, or there's something wrong in their morals where something might have happened to when they were younger and it weren't dealt with, and it goes on like a chain reaction. And to be fair, there ain't no excuse for it, but there's always a reason behind things that we may not understand, and it might be a stupid reason, but to them it could be massive. And that's where I think that's what I was gonna say.
No, it's been going on for years. I wouldn't just, I hope you don't. When I say this, and I'm sure you will agree that gangs is not just a black thing, because the perception is, unfortunately, when people think of, what I'm going to say, as soon as people mention, gangs, they think of the first thing is, black people, the black kids. I guess because it's so prominent in the news, but it isn't. It's wide. It's a whole different area. It's not just black people who are in gangs. It's across the board.
Gangs diverse. Gangs are diverse. Gangs are in every colour. Gangs are in things that you'd be shocked that there were even gang members.
Right.
These kids that are involved in it now.
Yeah, and so I'm going to come to the end of this. I just wanted to say this to you. It's just been amazing. I loved soaking up, reading about you, listening to you. I've watched you on other interviews, and people have interacted. I don't know if you can see the chat room actually, but people have interacted, and they have been saying things. As I said, maybe now that EastEnders is over and blah. The time that I'm going out, but this has gone out live and it will get repeated. It's on YouTube as well, and I'm hoping that people can see some positive vibes. I am hoping that what Jim does will resonate with the viewers that have watched this, give them an insight into that it's not all doom and gloom if your child is losing its way. There's a helpline there. There's a company out there that even if you're not in London, you're able to speak to them and give them advice and assistance. I know there's Gangs Unite in London, etc., but I didn't want that. I wanted people to know that kids as young as 5 are suffering. And there is a company called GYMIntervention, a group of wonderful people, which is 8 plus Anton 9. They've got specialist therapists, and I am bowing because there are parents that are struggling, And if you are, and no one is saying anything in the chat room, or they're still listening, watching quietly, please reach out to Anton Noble. This is his details, and I'm just going to put this here. Get in touch with Anton. There's a telephone number. The email is admin at admin. I can't speak today. I need to put in double false teeth. It's admin at assisttraumacare.org.uk. I'll repeat that. It's admin at assisttraumacare.org.uk. Do not be scared to talk, which is a lot of things that we are. No one wants to speak these days. And Anton, is there anything else you want to add before I thank you and bid you good night to the listeners?
Yeah, that's what. Well, we've actually finished the film. That's going to be coming out soon, and it's going to be coming out on Netflix and YouTube.
Oh my God!
It's going to be.
Can you tell us the name? Can you tell us the name?
Yeah, it's good. So this film is what I've directed, written, and acted in, and it's called The Life, and it's a short film, and the trailer should be out soon, and if you check on our Instagram,
right?
Yeah, I'll send it over.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, baby. Right? The deal is, well, I'm going to put this video up as well because look at this. Look at this.
Never too deep to make a change.
Say it loudly. Go on, say it again.
Never too deep to make a change.
Yes.
My boy.
Never too deep to make a
You have got to make sure when that trailer's ready, you're going to give it to moi, and moi is going to advertise it up on the page to let everybody know that Anton Noble has a short movie coming out on Netflix. Is it the new year? In the new year?
Not Netflix. It's no. The trailer will come out soon, so it'll be like this week.
Okay. So, right. Okay. As soon as the trailer comes to me, I will be putting it up and advertising that. And you wrote it, and you starred in it, and you produced in it, mate. I'm excited. I'm excited. I hope Channel 4 picks it up as well.
Hopefully.
I hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they do. If anyone never got the chance to also see The Drug Runner, which let me put that back up again. You did the Britain's Young Drug Runners. It's featured in Channel 4 documentary. It won an award. I said this earlier, right at the outset of the show. Best Documentary Award in 2019. Please, you can look it up on Channel 4. It's still there. It's on demand. Go and have a watch of that. We're not trying to frighten anyone, are we, Anton? We're not trying to frighten anyone. We're just trying to offer assistance. Am I correct?
Yes.
Offer assistance. And there is a way. Yeah. That's right. To life. If you want to make a difference and make a change, not just to yourself, but to your children, it's never too late to change. And with that, thank you to everyone in the chat room. Thank you again, Anton. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for agreeing to coming on to Standing in My Truth. I've learned so much about you, and I hope you've enjoyed it yourself.
Yeah, I have.
Thank you. And
I want to come back on it again.
Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. So let's get your trailer out. Let's get your movie done. Let's get your short documentary. And in the new year, I'd love to have you back in the new year. Is that a promise?
Yeah, I promise. Yeah.
Excellent. And obviously, you'll get a copy of this so you can listen back for yourself, etc. But for me, thank you, thank you, thank you. As I said, I bow. I bow. I bow to anyone who's making a difference in their community. I honor you and thank you. Have a great evening. And I'll speak to you when the show's over. To everybody out in the chat room, thank you. Yes, I think you can see it. Thank you, dude. You're all doing awesome work. I'm sure you can see that. Anybody, as I said, if you want to hit up Anton, all the details will be up on Facebook. After this, you can go back, watch it. Information is in there. The show reel that you saw, that will be up on the website. You can also go back. But there's no reason for anyone not to go and have a look on is it Gym? It's gym.com, isn't it? Hold on. Yeah, gym.com. Yeah, that was me out there. Good night, everybody. Good night, Anton. I'll speak to you in a while. Okay? God bless you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Love to your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And this is where I get all the heat from the light, and I got to learn to with lights. Do you know what? I can't wait to when I can come out of proper lockdown and go into another studio and stand up. Thank you for the high fives. I think you can still, hopefully you can still see the chat room. But what I'm going to say to everybody is peace, positive and understanding. I hope that you got something out of the wonderful Anton Noble today. We need more of him. We need so much more of Antons out there. And as I said, when I found him, or when I first came across him, he was just amazing. I couldn't soak up enough information of him. Being a parent myself, in the world that we have our kids are going out through the door. Some people don't know if your kids are going to come back in. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's deep out there. There's also those who, as I said, we talk about. Thank you, Lulu. Appreciate that. It's all because of you guys. All because of you guys. This show doesn't work without the chat. The chat does not work without you guys. It really, really doesn't. Thanks, Fawn. And long may it continue. Anton will be back in the new year once he's done his movie or his documentary. I'm so glad I got first hand. But anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I know it's only 8:30. Please, folks, stay safe, stay well, and don't be ashamed to ask. And it's never too late to change. God bless you all. Peace out.